I have this old 280 SE in the shop, and the customer, who happens to be my daughter, says, "Dad, we got a problem here. One of the brakes is dragging. I can feel it." So she's driven these cars long enough, she can tell when, you know. Plus, there's a couple tricks. One is if you suspect a dragging brake, then as soon as you stop the car, get out and go around and feel all the wheels. And if one of the wheels is hot, it's a real problem. If it's warm, it needs to be checked out. Well, that's what she did. She knew that. So she was driving home and she said, felt kind of sluggish. And she said, you know, she got out of the car and she went back to this right rear wheel here and she said, "Dad, it's hot. It's really hot." So I said, "Okay, let's get it in the shop. We're going to have to find out what's wrong with this brake and why it's locking up." Now, some of you say, "Oh, no problem. I'm just going to get a new caliper." Well, you can't believe how many people have had a dragging brake problem and then they run out and they just buy new calipers and they put them on only to find out that the brakes still drag, and then you start all over again. So look at, I got in the car, once we got on the lift, got in the car, pushed hard on the brake pedal, and then came out here and look at this, it'll hardly move. So that's a real good test. If you push hard on the brake pedal, get out and come, this should move. It may not spin freely, but you'll feel a little bit of drag, and then the more you rotate the tire, the faster it's going to spin. So when you've done this and you have a wheel that will hardly move, you have a dragging brake problem and you need to address it. I've seen cars catch on fire. These old cars will drive around with dragging brakes and the brakes will get so hot they'll catch the grease on fire. This is particularly true in the front end. If it's an older car where they have to grease the joints and you have excess grease. I saw a car literally smoking on the side of the road due to, you know, dragging brakes. So take care of this. Check this out. You know, if you have an old car, this one's almost 50 years old, but if you have a car older than 30 years, you know, once in a while when you're driving, and if you don't drive it a lot, just go around and you know, feel the wheels. If they're hot, you need to check it out. So we're going to go about the process. We have to troubleshoot this. Don't ever start buying brake parts until you troubleshoot why the brakes are dragging. You know, it may not be the caliper, I warn you. And so we're going to go through the whole process of troubleshooting this, and then we're going to go ahead and fix it. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to shoot a on-demand, it'll be a lengthy video on this whole process of troubleshooting a dragging brake situation and then repairing it, and that'll be available on my website. So if you really want to get in depth on this, I just showed you a couple tricks on how to see if your brake is dragging, but if you really want to know how to troubleshoot the source of the problem and fix the problem, be sure and check out my video on my website. I'll put a link in the show more of the description below this video. Well, I'm pleased to announce we have success here and I'm going to demonstrate this. And you're going to think, wow, what a difference from that first scene where I showed you how frozen up this rear brake was on this right side. So what I did is I got my mechanic in the car. He's going to push on the brake because this is really how you want to test it. He's going to push hard on the brake and then release it, and then I'm going to see how easily the brake turns. Okay, go ahead and lock up the brakes. All right, see that? No movement. Okay, release. Look at that. Can you believe that? And we didn't have to change a caliper. Not one caliper did we have to replace on this car. Now let's go up to the front one here. Do the same thing. Okay, go ahead and lock them up. Okay, see that? You can't move it. Okay, release. Look at that. Look at how nice that spins without even any hesitation or any grab. So we got the same on the other two wheels, so we're ready to go. We're ready to lower this thing down and enjoy some summer cruising.